Ryan.
Hey, John.
How's Miami doing?
We'll see. Me and my dad will be at some games this year. Probably going to go 3 or 4 together. We'll go down there and visit them. Season ticket holder, but only go to like 3 games. That's fine.
Did one of your parents go to UM?
No.
Yeah, what made you such a Miami fan? Well, I mean, other than living in the area.
Look at yourself.
Literally, it was thank you. It was living in the area, but my first memory of Miami Hurricanes football is the Ohio State game, BCS I don't know, was it BCS? Whatever championship game it was, and it was pass interference. It was not pass interference called on my damn it. Cut it.
What was this, 2000, dude? This
2002,
2001?
Dorsey.
Listen, bro, how old are you?
I was on the couch watching with my dad.
Okay.
Your dad's a Canes fan, though, right?
He is a Canes fan.
Because your grandpa is Colts, so he never really ever got
Dad
into
is
college, right?
Yeah.
But your dad got into college football, which got you into college football, which got you into UM.
That is correct, and here I am.
Does
Go
Matt?
Hatters.
Matt doesn't like UM. Didn't like it before he went to
Not until we
UF,
got to
right?
Gator Nation, unfortunately.
Well, wasn't he like rooting for Notre Dame?
He was rooting for Notre Dame from my uncle.
Gotcha.
Huge Brady Quinn fan back in the
Yeah,
day.
Brady Quinn, that era of Notre Dame was awesome. I was actually a fan of that, too. That was a good run.
But then he abandoned them when he went to UF and joined John as Gator Nation.
Gator Nation.
So
Die hard.
you followed your dad's like in college sports. You followed your grandpa's like in NFL.
That's correct.
Well, I mean, was there any influence on like basketball? And I feel like you're following your brother's footsteps on hockey.
Yes, I would. My brother followed my dad on that because my dad's born and raised in Toronto.
Got it. Yep.
And then they're both rooting for it. You know, hockey playoffs are pretty awesome, so easy to watch there. I don't really watch regular season. And then basketball, I feel like that was more me.
You're just a lone wolf on that one.
I am a lone wolf on that one.
I've picked up the Giants for my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's a Dolphins fan. So I mean, we root for both, but I'm a Giants fan, like for sure.
Probably the same tactic as me. My dad was a Dolphins fan. However, the Dolphins sucked when we were growing up. It was probably easy to root for other teams, Giants, Colts.
Yeah,
So-
the Colts came to Dolphin Stadium for a Super Bowl.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did, and
Against
they
the
won
Bears.
in 2006, baby.
Yeah. I went to they had a whole like production going on. It was really cool
Like
outside the
outside the-
stadium. Yeah. They did like my 40 time and like all this other crazy stuff. It was really cool.
What'd you run?
I don't remember.
Dude, you're fast.
I was in the 4 or something.
You're a fast kid, man.
I was in the 4. I don't know if it was laser or what. I don't know.
You're
I was
super
young. I
fast,
was very young. I think I just started Little League. So middle school.
James Lacombe, I love.
I was a freaking kicker.
You were an athlete, though.
I know.
You are
man.
an athlete.
The kickers are people too. For the brand.
Kickers for the brand.
For the brand.
For the
What?
brand. You heard that, Pat?
What,
For the
what?
brand.
What? I feel like this is a good topic of discussion, just like regarding our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, who they are, how we were raised, what maybe our characteristics of them are. Big,
Yeah.
good way to.
One of my favorite stories, you talked about football, Pee Wee football kind of started up. So my dad takes me to sign up for flag football in 5th grade. And my friends are then to sign up for tackle. My dad's like, you want to play tackle? I'm like, yeah, I want to play tackle. He's like, all right, let's sign you up. We get back. We're signed up for tackle football. First year, we get home, and Michelle is pit. We did not consult. That was our decision.
That's a dad move right
Oh,
there.
for sure.
That is a
For
dad
sure.
Ask for forgiveness in that one.
Awesome decision.
Mm-hmm.
But great moment.
Damn.
Yeah.
She was a worry ward.
Oh, yeah, every time.
You don't have many worry ward tendencies, though. You need to
No,
pick that
you
up from your
I
mom.
think so. I hope not. I don't
Your
think
mom
so.
is a lovely lady.
Thank you.
You don't
Appreciate
give her
that.
enough credit sometimes,
Michelle's great. She's competitive. She'll tell my
She is.
She'll tell my dad
On the
that
tennis court?
I learned how to catch a football from her, not him, and they get into a heated argument on that.
Ooh.
That's so funny.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's very unique because I actually learned how to throw a ball with my mom.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's okay. I'll double down on it. My mom's nickname in Little League she was Peyton Manning because she could actually throw a football.
Really?
Yeah. So being a kicker, right? Like we don't have fancy nets and stuff and ball boys and shit when you're growing up. Someone's got to go chase after your balls. That was my mom. My dad was working, so she had to learn how to throw the ball over the fence, over the uprights to get it to me, so I don't have to, so we can move along with practice, because We didn't actually kick footballs in little league for at practice, right? Like I was also a running back and like all this other stuff, you know.
Corner.
Receiver. Mostly receiver though. I was mostly receiver, so I was not a prima donna.
That's pretty cool though.
I'm
Interesting.
Definitely.
So our mothers
Yeah, it's
had a little bit of a actually a
Athletic
little bigger
influence.
impact in football, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty surprising.
That's funny. No, my mom. My mom stayed. She didn't really play a major role in sports for me. She was like too nice, and I feel like for me, I was in soccer when I was really young. I was really good at soccer. My dad was my soccer coach, so I did soccer during the regular season. Then we did indoor because obviously we were up north, so it wasn't like all year round. So we did indoor soccer. My dad was my indoor soccer coach for a long period of time, and then when regular season rolled around, obviously there was school and things like that. So you had different coaches. But then at one point when I was young, it was like I was getting just too physical. I was like hitting kids and stuff, and you just get red carded.
That's not surprising.
So then they were like, okay, I think it's done with soccer. I was really good at soccer, but I was just getting a little bit too
Aggressive.
Yeah. And then that was when they made the switch to football. They're like, maybe he'll be better at this. And then from that point on, I never went back to soccer, and I just played football.
Yeah.
But my dad was more of a role in that because, he was like the coach when I was in soccer. And then in football, it was like, Pop Warner, you have other coaches and stuff. So he wasn't a coach, but he was always at everything. My mom came to games and stuff, but she wasn't like, I don't even think my mom can throw a football today.
So you answered with your dad. Were your parents, they had an influence? Were they coaches? Like, were your parents coaches?
Soccer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Not football, but soccer.
You?
My mom and dad were the parents that stayed out of any type of coaching. They were
Interesting.
never the parents to complain. They never played a role in that. And for that, I am extremely thankful.
Would you change that tactic when you become a father?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I think we all have like a passion for coaching and development.
Agreed.
We've talked about this. It'd be cool as fuck just coaching some Pop Warner kids, right?
We
We don't have time though.
We got
But
the lineup when it's time.
Yeah,
we got
when
the
it's
coaching
time.
staff already assembled.
I will not be a
We
part of
need
it.
a kicking
I've already
coach.
we need a
told
kicking
man.
coach.
No, I would.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Adam's running the defense. Billy's running the defensive line. Johnny's offensive coordinator. I got receivers. Kenny, you could be, quality control.
Yeah.
And James is special teams. There it is. Dre's got DBs.
Just
It's
like
a whole
that.
squad, man.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool.
My dad coached like when I was super young. He was always the assistant coach, never wanted to be the head coach. But then when I played tackle football, he found a way to be in with the coaches but not coach. He recorded all the games.
So that's funny. My dad used to be like the water boy. Like he
Okay.
would fill up the coolers and stuff. and
John, you look a little parched.
and that was his role, and he stayed out of everything else. Which again,
Same with your brother and sister?
I mean, like I guess my dad coached a little bit of like t-ball and
Right.
stuff when we were super young. But
Oh, okay.
after
All right,
like
yeah.
getting into middle school, no, absolutely stayed away. Which again, I'm thankful because parents are crazy now.
My dad had one rule when he would record the game. He said to the coaches, I'll do it. You have to watch it on mute. Because if they watch it on volume, he goes, why the fuck are they throwing the ball to Ryan? Like, every freaking play. So he's like, watch it on mute so there's no judgment, and I'll record all the games. But then he was kind of in the circle with the coaches, but he wasn't a coach.
Interesting.
I always remember, so I played soccer growing up, was my biggest sport. I played for like 12 years. Obviously, it's when I naturally became a kicker. But the soccer moms out there, I mean, they used to take Zephyr Hill bottles, right? Water bottles, obviously empty them out and just load them with pennies. And they would shake them.
Yes,
Oh, it was
yes.
so annoying.
Damn.
So annoying. And they'd get like mad. I mean, it was. But my mom played a team mom role, so that there was a level of element in that, and a lot of it. My aunt and uncle also were very, very involved in my life, and they were big in soccer. They actually created their own company to train kids in soccer.
I didn't know that.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Core 4. Yeah, it was part of Weston. Yeah, yep. So, I mean, soccer was actually pretty big. Even though my dad never played soccer, he was football, and he was ridiculously good running back, but he hurt himself, and then,
Richie Rich was a running back?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to chat.
Oh.
We got to chat him up about
He was
that.
good.
next time we see
He
him.
was good.
I gotta see
from the
some game
stories.
film.
I've never seen game film, but from the stories, apparently he was really good.
Back in my
Potential for getting recruited, but then he thought he was John Travolta in high school. So
John, grab some ammo next time you're on the golf course with Richie Rich.
Ooh.
There you go.
there you go. well, I mean, Dylan and I had to get athleticism from somewhere. I mean, both my mom and dad, but it seemed to have it. So
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think.
um,
So, one thing that I feel like, obviously getting into college, we were all very much so involved with you and your parents, right? So, like, for us, one of the cool things was to see, like, how you were around them and just the relationship you had with them as well. So, I guess a fair question, especially I'm going to start with you just because I think this hits home a little bit more, but just like from a characteristics standpoint, like, what do you have? Like, what are you similar? What do you like? Because I can name some off the top of my head, and I think we all can.
I would like to hear your guys touch on this, but yeah, no, it's funny you say that because her nickname's Mama Lagama. I mean, that's just who she is, right? So we've always said this: I'm my mom, and my brother's my dad.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad's quiet, reserved, doesn't really show much emotion, but you can get him talking.
Yeah.
You know, he'll crack jokes, and he comes out of nowhere, kind of like Dylan. He just like snipes you, and you're like, "What the hell?" Still, at Dylan's the same way. I'm definitely more my mom from a personality standpoint, for sure. And like, I think I also get my organization skills and how I like operate, like with my structure and stuff, because she ran the books for their company. They started their own oil change business and they ran it together for 20 some odd years. So she did that side of the work, and so I think from a family perspective and seeing that, I probably like picked that up the most. When I worked at the shop, I was outside and I was working with my dad, and even though I'm pretty handy, and I got that from my dad, I've worked a lot inside. I was a cashier most of my time at Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, which then later became Quick Stop Oil Change and Tune-Up when we went away from the franchise. I do see, though, there's definitely differences. Like I'm not a mirror image of my mother, but I'm also not completely and utterly not my dad, right? I have a lot of character traits, like the being able to fix it. I'm a MacGyver, essentially. Like he can just do anything and look at something and be like, oh yeah, I can fix that. I can do that. I can make this. Blah blah blah. So I think I got a lot of stuff from both of them. And my brother, I can see some stuff in recent years that he's picked up from my mom's side more than, because we always just kept saying he's my dad, he's my dad, he's my dad. But I'd be interested to see what you guys think.
No, I think you're like more like your mom than your dad.
Yeah.
The organization thing makes so much sense.
The cooking,
The cooking, yes.
the
I'm thinking of when
Cooking,
James plans a
you're
trip
right.
down to
the
the T.
planning. Yeah.
He plans the bathroom breaks basically. Like that's how many layers it goes down to. So
How many
structures.
Levels to this shit.
how many slices of turkey for the freaking?
we can only get
sandwiches?
9.5 pounds, not
Oh.
10. 7 slices a person on the sandwich.
I catch myself saying things that my parents say too. Like it's just like so obscure. You're just like, where the hell did I end up picking this up? Like why?
Dude, Matt and I, my brother, talking about things we pick up from our parents, and really, my dad, when he leaves the house, there's 2 things he has to always do. He has to check the front door, even though he already locked it. He's got to walk back up,
Every
and he's
fucking
got to
time.
make sure that the garage is closed. And I fucking have to ask Morgan, is the garage closed?
Yep.
I won't check it myself, but she knows that someone's got to look, and I hate it. And Matt will call me from time to time and be like, yo, man, I just checked the front door if it was locked. It's like, fuck,
So
dude.
funny. That's funny.
Yeah, you get hit with those moments.
'Cause
And you
we-
don't know when they're gonna
you
happen
don't.
too.
It's a bit OCD.
It's karma because we
Yeah.
would rope, Dad, yo, you locked it. Don't turn around. We're turning around, and we would just wow, joke on him. And now I'm getting joked on myself for that. So it's
The garage is hysterical.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because I literally had to program on an app for my parents, so if they forgot to shut the garage, they can do it from their phone. Like, that's incredible. Good.
we will sit and like stay there just to make sure we saw it shut. All right.
It didn't hit the
We
little
could
blink
go.
thing. Damn, that's funny.
Yeah.
But you, Johnny, what do you got?
So one thing I appreciate my parents, they were like very different and in the middle on things. So like they had a different opinion, but also the way I grew up, I always saw the middle in things. So like when it came to religion, politics, the way people are, like I always tried to seek the middle, which I think as a friend group we do that as a whole, which is amazing. But the real world isn't that way. especially nowadays with everything going on and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
The competitive spirit, definitely from my mother. Be yourself, being authentic, like my dad. Don't be someone that you're not. And the grind, like that's one thing my parents like. And I think all of our parents have a pretty unique story from where they came and what they were able to accomplish. Like they all wanted the better for us, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you start to seek those little things, and you don't really register it when you're growing up. But that's one thing I'm super thankful for. It's like they came from really nothing, and they were very blue collar, and they were able to make something out of their lives. So like they did the best they could for their kids, and that right there is enough. Like college, obviously, met you guys, but yeah, man, it's interesting because when you really reflect, there's just so many different things you can think of.
Yeah, the values, morals, and ethics you get from your parents, you know, it's big. It's big. If they can instill some really strong ones, some key ones, I mean, that stuff sticks with you for a lifetime, and it really helps you. I mean, yeah, and you mentioned religion and politics as well. I mean, those are other influences. Some parents take the approach of, I'm not going to let you pick, or I'm not going to force anything on you. I'm going to let you pick. It's in its own right, its own good tactic. But then you also have traditions. So, like, that's another reason why religion is usually not necessarily forced, but, like, you just adopt it. You assume that because you're part of the family. It is you. It's part of your family's crest, identity, like that kind of stuff. And it's good to have those things.
Everything that I've ever been attached to, it was never forced. And that's,
I would agree. It was similar for me because, like, for sports, I did everything. Like,
Same.
I did soccer, lacrosse, wrestling, track, football, like so many different things. And my parents, baseball. My parents, I think, just they wanted me. My dad specifically, he said, like, I'll let you try anything, but if you try it, you have to live it out.
Yep.
Like, if you're gonna do something in a season, like if you're going to start baseball, live out the season. If you don't want to do it again next year, it's okay. But live out the season. Be dependable to your team. Be a team player. You know, for wrestling, it's still a team thing and stuff like that. But do it, live it out, and then decide if you want to continue to do it from season to season. And I that's why I tried so much stuff.
I love that.
I would say I'm similar to you. Like they were, well, no, my parents, specifically my dad would be very hard on a like an opinion on something, but my mom was more like in the middle of things. But they were, I would say, more. They allowed me to try things, more open-minded to trying things and figuring out what I liked, which was good.
yeah.
Because then you just figure out what you want to do, and it's a good thing.
I don't know, like, and obviously you and I are pretty similar, and it sounds from like you both, like nothing was really pushed or forced. But, like, there's people out there, like, we have a very close friend who stopped playing football.
Oh, yeah.
Because of, just the pressure.
A couple of friends, actually.
A couple of friends, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a common thing. I've seen that it was really heavy in wrestling when I was in wrestling. There was a real lot of that. Where there was just like siblings or parents that were really, really opinionated towards like, this is what you're going to do and you're going to be great at it. And it caused a lot of friction. A lot of friction.
Yeah, not every parent's perfect, obviously.
No.
And
Absolutely not.
yeah, exactly. And by no means are we going to be perfect parents.
No.
But there's a lot of things that they do that can influence how you're going to be when you grow up and become an adult, good and bad.
Yeah.
Things that you don't ever want to do when you become a parent.
For sure.
Or just don't want to be like in general. But then there's also, things that you look up to and all those kind of things. Yeah, and it kind of affects you on how you turn out. So it's, you could, some people go and like follow the family footsteps and like everyone was doing this. And so then I did this, right? It's opportunities that they were able to give you or didn't give you, right? I think there's a lot of people that are fortunate and we're definitely part of that group. Because my parents did everything they could.
Sacrifice a lot.
And
you don't really see it.
No, because when you're growing up, you just
don't.
You can't see those things. Life has to happen in order for you to realize what's actually happening in front of your eyes. So I mean, the being able to play sports and not have to work to help support your own family when you get to a certain age, right? Like those are huge, right? And they bust their butt to be able to do that, to potentially help you pay for your college. Anything, get you your first car, all those things. Awesome, extremely thankful for, and I can't wait to try to pay it forward to my kids. God, I hope my kids are nothing like I was when I grew up, because man, my mom's gonna come knocking on the door and say, "Yep, karma's a bitch."
My mom is just, it sounds like the same for you. Probably feel a lick on her chop. She's like, you judge. I know. I judge. I cannot wait until you have kids, because all the things you've been telling me, I'm coming right in, like you said, and told you so.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
how do you feel about that?
Yeah. We said this on a couple episodes about time. It's the one thing you can't get back. And I think it takes time for us to just realize how much of a value that is to just have that time with your parents, especially as you grow older, right? Because you don't really, like you said, you don't recognize it as a kid. You don't know you don't realize all the sacrifices they've done. And whenever you do hit that point, then you really start to cherish those moments, no matter how big or small. I just want everyone to try to recognize that earlier, because you just can't get it back, man.
Tell your parents you love them.
Absolutely.
And thank them.
One of my favorite parts about what we've been going on recently in our lives is the wedding seasons and stuff, right? I love meeting everyone's family, because I've met everyone's parents, but then I get to meet the grandparents, the cousins, the extended family. It's awesome to really put that all together, because you're not a product of just your parents. They are 100% the biggest contributor. But you've got siblings, cousins, uncles, aunts, grandparent, all those people.
It takes a village.
And you are they created that, essentially, whatever the heck you became, and it explains so many things. You get to hear all these stories of how they were when they were younger. That is the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing ever. I love chatting it up with everyone's family.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but there's like a family member specifically in my family that I feel like I'm like one of my uncles, one of my dad's brothers, I'm very similar to, which is weird.
You're very similar
I'm
to?
very similar.
I
to.
have the same thing.
Which is
very
weird
similar to
because
my
it's
uncle.
like an uncle, but I'm so similar. Like, he owns a business. He's an entrepreneur. He works out. He competed back in the day. He was Mr. New Jersey back in the day. He's always sending me like these motivational things. I'm sending them to him. You know, like, he's just very growth minded, like motivational, inspiring. Like, it's just a lot of admiration. It's just really weird because it's like he's one of my oldest uncles, because he was my dad's oldest brother, but resonates with similarities with me so much. It's crazy. It's so weird, but it's like evident.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because, again, it changes, right? Where, like, you're in a growth mindset, you're trying to build your own legacy, and those little things help. Just having someone reaching out to you, man, it's just such a gratifying feeling.
But do you guys have extended family that are like...
You guys may not know this, but my grandmother actually did a lot of my raising. Like, so Kenny, you might face this, but so my parents owned a business, and so they had to open it and keep it up and running and blah, 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 blah. So I went to my grandparents. So my grandma raised me, essentially, right? And she'll always joke and say, "Oh, I never taught him that."
So it's interesting because the uncle that's really close to me was always the furthest away. He lived in
Really?
Georgia.
That is surprising.
He did not. He's my godfather.
Huh.
That's
But
so
he
fun.
had the furthest distance relationship. But I had another relationship. My mom, her mom passed away when she was very young, but my aunt Jeannie was really close to us, and she basically was like my mom's mom. And my aunt Jeannie watched me from when I was really little to basically I was ready to go to school. And our relationship was super, super close. Like, I love my aunt Jeannie to death, and she's super close to our family as a whole. And that relationship was really close, and we had a really close bond, and we've, forever since had that. But yeah, no, my uncle that's like really similar to me was like close, but like by phone call, not really there. I talk to him so much, though. I talk to him at least a couple times a week.
It's funny you say that because my godfather, who's a cousin, like he lives the furthest from me, and he and I probably communicate and talk the most. And he's been there since day one. It's just funny though. Maybe it's just a Jersey Godfather thing. Like I don't know.
Yeah, weird. I don't know how that works either, but or why.
Yeah. Well, it's just a good person, right?
Yeah.
You know, like dude, it's so easy to check in on someone.
It's
We just get so caught in the moment.
It's one text. It's 30 seconds.
It's not like you even have to pick up a phone call anymore. Or social media is there too.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hot Takes, where we talk about debatable topics. Today, the question is, should you spank your children? A little tap.
This one's great because we aren't even parents, but we're going to give you our thoughts.
I wasn't really spanked at all, so I'm going to say no on this one. This is a no on me because I came out fine. I didn't get spanked.
I definitely got spanked, and I definitely think it works. Even though I was a terror as a child, I think there's a time and place for it.
I didn't do anything wrong to get spanked, though. Like I'm sure I did shit wrong.
Here's what I'm going to say. There's a lot of, from my perspective, a lot of entitlement out there. Kids brought up that way. It's all about eliminating that. Whether it's spanking, not spanking, however you eliminate that behavior, that works for me. So I don't think spanking's required.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's required. I think there's other ways to get the point across.
Did you not just say however it gets done
I think
you're okay with, but then say spanking's not?
Oh snap!
It's not required.
I need you to have a stronger argument here, Ryan.
It's not required. You don't have to spank your kid.
All right, so you're officially a no.
100%.
Were you who was like a soap and a hot sauce kid where they got
Oh, okay. So those are obviously other means. I used to just tell my mom, yes, I love it. More, please. And then the wooden spoon came out. But
wooden
That's why-
spoon.
that's
That
why
is
I
the
got
most
spanked.
Italian thing I've ever heard in my life.
yeah. Oof. That one left a mark, literally and figuratively. No. I think the proper way to do it is it should be your last resort, right? If it's frequent, then I think it could also promote bad behaviors.
For sure.
Right? But if all of your other tactics aren't working and you do this so infrequently this is when the kid knows, oh, I should never do that again because I don't want to experience that ever again. That's when I think it's acceptable.
Just give him a little juke.
Little love tap. Right on the
Scare 'em.
I
hiney.
don't even think.
Cold shoulder tactic. Parent just stops talking to them.
Oh,
Then they know they messed up. You don't even got to touch them. Don't got to be physical. It's just, hey, Mom. Nope, nothing. Stone cold.
that's what happened with you. Stone Cold.
A lot of things happened to me. Listen, I basically had the door taken off the hinges. Isolation. Spent a lot of time in isolation, but the door was off so they could see what I was doing. So it's basically you fuck up to the room, you fuck up real bad. I slammed the door before. Now you can't slam the door because the door is off the hinges. No physicality, but you ain't fucking talking to no one. So
Yeah.
So you just got grounded. There was no spankings involved.
basically.
I think a common tactic, though, similar to that, which is probably more so now that I've seen, is the taking away of like phones or like
Taking
video
away
games.
Video games, yeah.
Timeouts. That's another tactic.
That's a big one now.
What age are we talking? If they got the tablet at 2 years old,
I mean,
that's
that's ridiculous.
But they
yeah,
do. But they do.
That's how they keep
But I
you
don't know.
quiet at dinner and lunch.
Well, that's the
and
thing. I
breakfast.
think parents cave. That's why I don't think it's effective. Because they don't want the kid that just keeps crying and screaming and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Now, public versus private, I think, is another part of this, too.
Absolutely. Like, have you ever been in a store where like a
Yeah.
little kid gets spanked?
I was just in one
It's
yesterday.
awkward.
I was in
How
It
does
is
it make you feel,
awkward.
right?
That's why you
I'm
should
just
I would
gonna
never
spank
be
your
that
kid.
parent.
That's why
Yeah.
you should not do that.
There
thing.
you
No.
go.
Like,
Well,
you're not going to do
Well,
it.
you
in
could pull them
private.
aside to
Well-
a bathroom, the changing rooms or whatever if you're in a clothing store.
If
I
you
don't
bring
know.
your kid into a bathroom just to spank his ass in the middle of a place, and you're not going to do it in public, something's wrong.
Or you take
with
them home.
that
That's the other
situation.
thing. You just leave.
Yeah.
James, I think you just made an argument, though. You said how
And then you spank them.
The parents are caving
No.
on the discipline. The parents got to stay disciplined, stick to it. They don't just have to beat them, but they don't have to cave on everything. Just, stop crying and then give in.
Yeah,
If
I
you
mean,
have to bring your kid to a remote location to spank them, you just don't spank them.
There's a problem there.
Someone's
Yeah.
still
You're
going to
hiding
catch you
from
with the phone.
authorities.
Like if you're like, okay, we gotta go, and then just no.
You're on
it's
aisle
not.
7 in Publix.
No.
Let's go. We're out. Okay.
No,
No ice
don't
cream
spank
for you.
them. Then that method clearly doesn't work.
Well, I remember I said spanking is supposed to be infrequent. You're supposed to use other tactics. It's when it's only absolutely necessary. Like you just can't get this kid to listen.
My mother went to a Catholic school, and she used to get smacked with a ruler by the nuns.
Yeah.
That still happens in Europe, by the way. They're still doing physical punishment in Europe. In some schools.
No way.
Wonder what the
I
Dana
swear, I
looks
looked
like.
it up this morning. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Really?
yep. Europe has a lot of that stuff. I guess it's more traditional. For like I think it kind of goes back to like religion and that kind of stuff because it was a big Catholic school thing, the paddle, and I think other religions have stuff similar.
We're going to negate your argument because we're trying to stay away from religion and politics. So, you're out.
And for that reason, you're out.
I think.
Feel some
Animosity.
I think
animosity.
I'm just
going
saying,
between
man.
the two.
Relying
Yeah,
on
I
the
just-
Catholics. Come on, we got to be
Listen.
careful.
Yeah, I mean there's a religion play here, but at the same time, I don't think you need to spank your kid, and I think you're dwindling on that too. Like if at first it's like spank your kid, then it's like okay, well let's spank
I'm
him
not
to
saying
the bathroom.
beat
and
the
spank
shit
him.
out of them every fucking day that they're alive and breathing until they're not. I mean,
Nah, just don't spank them.
no, I think it's an effective method.
Put them into sports. They'll get discipline there.
Let me get smacked around by a.
Again, there's
DB
tactics.
is
You can
running
talk
the ball.
tactics all day long.
But we're talking about specifically having to spank or not. You don't have to. There's a bunch
When you're
of different
when you're a
tactics
parent,
out
you
there.
come to me and tell me I just can't get this kid to listen to squat. Well, give him a little love tap, like Tanny said. Well,
Tap. We'll spank.
little tap.
We're not.
But
no.
I don't.
I mean, if you're already no, never mind. It can't. No spanking, no physicality for the kid. Put him in isolation. You'll end up like
There's
me.
nothing
Everything
a
will
good
be okay.
little floppy sandal couldn't cure. Just a
Little sandal action. Flip flop.
I don't know.
What are
I
you
don't
playing,
see it. I
tennis?
don't think it's a viable method these days.
Yeah, it's a different time, right?
Do I think
Not
it
to say-
works?
Yeah.
Maybe. But
Not to say back then it was any better, but it's just a different time. I think with more research, with more data, could look into what the effect is of hitting a kid.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about spanking, we're talking about hitting. At the end of the day, you're still laying a hand on your child, which a lot of people can look at that, see that, and not take it the right way
Nope.
from an
And
outsider.
It has been going down a lot. To speak to your point on this day and age, I think it was like something like the statistic was in the 50% area that's how many parents were spanking around. I think this was before 2017. Post 2017, it kind of dropped down to like 35% now. So that was the only statistic I could find out there. I'm sure it may be even going down even further, right? Because we're 6 years from that now. But
yeah, I think you have to look at the effectiveness on it. Like, does it actually draw back a result? I don't know.
that's another point too. Try it, see if it works.
I'm gonna test
You
this
don't know
out.
if it doesn't work.
I'm gonna test this out this month. see
I'm
what-
not
see what
saying
the
if it
results
works,
are.
Oh,
then do
wait.
it every freaking time. But
Oh my goodness, that was great.
Try it out.
Kid, try it out. You don't know. Oh, you don't like broccoli? Have you tried broccoli? It's the same thing. Got to try things sometimes in life.
No, what were you gonna say?
I got nothing.
I do have something a little bit unrelated.
You got
to
nothing, but
this.
you got something.
I got
Let's
something.
hear it.
I always got something. Listen, going back to the in public thing, does it really matter what someone else thinks of how you discipline your child?
No.
Exactly.
But to your point, though, you are a hard no on disciplining your child by hitting them. So in a way, it probably would rub you the wrong way.
They better not tell me how to discipline my child.
Well, okay, wait. So when we say spanking too, that seems like a physical like hit, right? Are you also categorizing like grabbing them by the arm and yanking them out of the store? Is that physical punishment?
That's not a spanking.
It's physical punishment is really where I think we're at here. Okay,
If the kid's running
laying
around,
a hand on your child, right? Grabbing them by the ear, grabbing them by the hair, whatever.
Oh,
It's physical.
that's not the
That's not the
that's
same,
not the
yeah.
definition of
That's the same.
spanking. If I need to grab the kid by the hand, I mean, here's what I'll tell you. In public, if I grab the kid by the hand and then an adult comes up to me, I'll spank the adult. How
What
about
happens
that?
if the kid is
So-
in the store saying, "Daddy, you're hurting me"?
That can
he's
go.
saying daddy.
Physical punishment.
Listen,
no,
listen.
we just changed this up. This
We're
was
talking about
spanking.
spanking, not grabbing. No.
Yeah, you know why this is going this way? Because spanking is becoming less and less effective, I think. And
No, I think people are just getting more and more soft.
Because the
Well,
parents
that's a
are
totally
caving in.
And the kids
they're
are
not
also
disciplined.
getting more and more soft, taking advantage of their parents.
Once
They'll call the
again.
cops on their parents constantly. It's just, I don't know. It's an interesting time. I think there's a time and place for it.
For sure.
I can't wait to be parents.
All right, we have no result on this one.
Probably because we're not parents.
Probably because we're not parents. So parents, tune in and let us know. Do you spank your child? Thanks for watching. Hot takes.
So, like, do you guys have a story, something that that sticks with you, with your parents, like a memory you always fall back on?
Yeah, I mean, I have a good one. I just think this is pretty funny. I mean, I have a ton with my parents.
Yeah.
I was really close with my dad when I was young. One time I was probably, I don't know, we can probably draw up exactly how old I was. Whenever 8 Mile came out, I was, I don't know, 13, I don't even know, 12. We would go to the movies sometimes, and like he would just pull me out on a random day and he would call it playing hooky, and I just wouldn't go to school, and we would just hang out for a day. And I would play hooky, and he would bring me to like mostly like the movies, or like we'd go do something. So one time we went to the movies, and I don't think he really had a plan. I don't think he like went through like what movies are playing and stuff like that. So he would just like find a time where there was a movie, and then we'd go to McDonald's, get a shit ton of McDonald's. He like put it all under his coat, and we would just go into a movie, and we would just eat McDonald's and just watch a movie. But he took me to 8 Mile when 8 Mile came out.
2002, by the way.
You were
2002.
8.
I was
Second
8.
grade.
Yeah, so I was like
You were playing
super-
hooky?
That is,
Yeah.
love it.
He would take me and
awesome.
I'd play hooky, and then I saw 8 Mile in the movie theater when it first came out. And I was super young. But it was, I mean,
Welcome to the real world, kid.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Maybe he covered my eyes at that point. I don't remember, but the whole movie was definitely not good for an 8-year-old. But I don't know. I mean, hey, I came out fine.
So we were a big movie family as well. My dad, being the tech guru person that he is, back mid 2000s, he would basically
Stop.
rent movies from
Stop.
Blockbuster or wherever, and he would copy
Good for him.
his own. Our whole
The whole like VHS
it would
DVD
take,
player
it would take
one.
days.
Oh, yeah.
It'd basically be a movie a week, so he'd spend all week copying it, and then we as a family would watch it. And this is like 2 or 3 years, especially in the summers, man. Every Friday, Matt and I would look forward to just movie night with the family. But it was hysterical because it was those copied movies, and specifically like we were watching The Matrix, and my parents would watch it first to make sure it was clean, and then we'd all watch it
Jeez.
again on Friday. But I just thought that was fucking hysterical.
My dad used to
Very
buy pirated DVDs.
Yeah, so did my dad.
My dad was
And
probably
some of
selling them.
standing
Some
up
of
in
them,
the
yeah, some of them you'd be watching and be like, oh, this is good. Some dude just standing there eating popcorn. You're like,
Let me
dude,
tell you,
4
when there was
minutes?
one in there that was good quality, he was like, "Oh
That's
yeah, it was a good fun." Blah blah blah.
Some of them you have like
That's
just
so
like,
funny.
but he did the burning thing
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
There was actually a dude, because we lived in Jersey, like, you know, they still lived in Jersey at the time, and there was a dude in Florida that they knew, and he was like, his name was like DVD Mike or something like that, and he just sold those pirated DVDs.
That's hysterical. I love that. Funny.
What about you, Johnny?
Well, I guess let's just keep it on the movies.
Okay.
So every year during the summer, we would drive down to Florida from New Jersey, which is like 16 hours. And we had my brother, my sister, my mom, and my dad. They bought like one of the first like vans with like a real TV in there with like the VHS. So some of the fondest memories is just driving 16 hours straight as a kid
Jeez.
and just watching movies. And then like, obviously we just stir conversations. But again, my brother and sister were so much older. Sometimes they put like some VHS stuff in that thing, and like I probably shouldn't have been watching it at the age of 4, 5, 6 years old. Like it was supposed to be Barney, and I don't know, you got the Goonies on or something, which I guess isn't that bad of a movie. But those are some good moments, some good memories. Every year for like 6 years straight.
Just going back to the VHS real quick. You remember how you would put the VHS in and it would rewind it?
Yeah.
So we played a prank on my mom one Christmas. We got her a DVD rewinder.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
oh.
because the VHS, and she would like, we gave it to her as a gift, and then she's trying to figure out how it works, and it's just a disc player. But she was all bought in on the DVD rewinder and was super excited
funny.
about it.
That's funny.
I watched a video when I was really young. I like loved Home Alone.
Oh, great movie.
What
I
a
loved
movie.
Home Alone. I still love Home Alone. I'll watch that. It never gets old. I'll watch it every year.
Only
But-
Christmas or anytime?
I mean, it's just on TV over
Yeah.
Christmas. They just throw it at you every day. So
Yeah.
I'll watch that shit every day. But I had like a Home Alone. I don't even remember if it was 1 or 2. I had a Home Alone, like it was a VHS. But remember when you watched the VHS so much, it started getting like fuzzy.
Yeah.
And then it ate the tape one time. And I was like, I don't know, how old were we? Like 6, 7?
Yeah.
I like started to cry. I was like, it ate my movie.
Jeez.
Like just destroyed.
Ate my movie.
That's what they would say, right? It would like eat the tape. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting topic. I think that a lot of people are similar to their parents. There's definitely characteristics that come genetically. There's things that come just by nature and nurture, and it's an interesting topic as a whole. If you have anything to add that maybe resonated with you as we talked about it today, feel free to throw a comment in. But until then,
The adventure continues.